Pete Carroll, what a job he's done. His first 5 years in Seattle, 4 times to the playoffs, including back-to-back Super Bowls, winning one, losing the heartbreaker a year ago, and then 49-year-old Bucks County, PA native Mike Pettin, the son of a legendary high school football coach in Pennsylvania. Look at some of the inactives. Brian Hartline injured last week. Manziel in for McCown. Now we know about Lynch, and Rawls saw him break his ankle last week. Jimmy Graham out for the year. Cam Chancellor misses just his 4th game of his great career.
He tried to practice a little bit on Friday. They didn't feel like he was ready to go full out this week. I have a feeling they'll have him back by next. But Kelsey McCray played very well for him in Baltimore last week.
Pete Carroll's team won the toss, chose to defer to getting the football into the second half. Saw Raheem Mostert. We just saw him last week against Seattle, returning kicks for the Baltimore Ravens. Ball blows off the tee, so Hauschka will. Thought he might ask for a little help, somebody to hold that thing for him, but apparently not. It was very, very windy and very, very rainy most of the very early morning.
Yeah, a little gusty down here on the field, Tom.
But it won't blow the shine off Rudolph's nose down there.
No, it will not. No, it will not.
So here we go. Hauschka spins it away. And through the back of the end zone, the Browns will get it at the 20-yard line. Well, we talked about Manziel last week, and it doesn't hurt when your team rushes for well over 200 yards. Helps the quarterback a great deal, making his 5th start of the year. And you see 2-2 the record, so the Browns have won 3 all year long, 2 of the 3 with Johnny Football at quarterback.
People tend to rally around him. We can talk about all the off-field troubles and is he mature enough and all this and that, but his teammates like playing with him and playing for him. Watch Cleveland early. If they get any type of decent field position, I don't think they'll be very conservative today.
Easy throw to start the day. And positive yardage, a gain of 4, swinging it out to the rookie Duke Johnson. That's his 50th catch of the year. Having a good solid year is Johnson. Offensively for the Browns, they lost Hardline last week. Their primary target, regardless of quarterback, has been Barnage. And they've made some changes up front, especially with Cameron Irving getting his first start of the year last week. He'll start again today in left guard. There is concern Joe Thomas, the 8-time Pro Bowler who's never missed a snap, would be unable to go today, but he's in there. No running room at all for Johnson, wrapped up by McCray, who starts in place of Cam Chancellor. The injury certainly adding up primarily on the offensive side of the ball, and now Chancellor down for this defense.
And they also had a couple of corners dinged last week who play a lot in Marcus Burley, who wears 28, and Deshaun Shedd, who's been starting at corner, wears number 35. Let's see how their health goes today. Shedd getting the start out wide.
Seattle, the 3rd best defensive team in football on 3rd down. And before 3rd down and 5, the Browns will spend a timeout.
Like John Greco, their offensive lineman, number 77, went down, right after the play. He tried to get back in there and continue going, but when he broke the huddle, it wasn't working for him, so they're taking him off.
Yeah, Tony, I don't think they're going to charge the Browns with a timeout here. They just didn't get Greco off, so they think the officials just stop play, and they'll do it all over again. And Greco's been pretty steady for them this year. Offensive line has needed some work. That's Greco right there, the starting right guard. And he's working against a Taba Rubin, and then a whole crowd comes in, and it looked like number 92 Brandon Mebane trying to make a play, rolled him up from the backside.
So Irving, who lost that starting job a week ago, now moves over and will play right guard. Austin Pastor was the one who took over for Irving in left guard last week.
And Irving's had trouble hanging in there with bull rushes. Let's see if they bring some force at him.
Manziel delivers a strike, and that is a first down and then some up to the 38-yard line to Taylor Gabriel. Sustained a concussion against the Steelers a month ago. This is his first game back today.
And how about Taylor Gabriel? announcing himself on this one, works inside, just whips it out to the sideline, wide open, and Johnny Manziel stayed in the pocket, right in the teeth of everything, and delivers a strike for a big first down to start things off for Cleveland.
Terrell Pryor, the former Ohio State star quarterback, who played in 16 snaps a week ago as a wide receiver, checks in at the top of your screen. And they put it in his direction, thrown very hard on a quick slant route, and Pryor unable to get it.
And Terrell Pryor, who you just mentioned, Tom, I had a chance to chat with some Browns coaches in pregame. He's going to get a test today. I think they're going to lather him up and give him a lot of plays and find out what he really has as a wide receiver in today's game. This is an opportunity for him to make a very positive impression if he plays well.
Well, he's as good an all-around athlete as has come out of college football in a long time. Now, can he make the change? We'll find out. Well, they pitch it coming back the other way into the hands of Travis Benjamin. And that's a gain of about 9.5. So it brings up a 3rd down and 1.
Would we talk about good field position and they probably wouldn't be conservative? But here they go. Cleveland now giving you a little misdirection. And this is what you like to do against teams that can run on defense. You get them moving one way, hit them back on the opposite side. And what a great block on Earl Thomas. The polo one coming right there. Excellent job, number 15, Marlon Moore. Wow. From the backside and leveling the all-pro free safety, Earl Thomas.
Holy mackerel. Crowell able to sneak underneath would-be tacklers and gets a first down right at the 50. Just slid past Averill. Crowell coming off the best game of his very young career. Second-year college free agent out of Alabama State. 20 carries, 145 yards. 6 receptions for better than 50 yards and a couple of touchdowns.
Ran the ball very well as the lead guy, something they've wanted to do all year, and they've come out with a big power set here. Extra tight ends and H-backs on the field. Dre 81 in the game. Look at that bunch to the right.
Flag down. Manziel caught on the far side by Benjamin, but it looked like there was some kind of movement along that line of scrimmage. It's a 13-yard gain, but will it stand?
Offside. Defense on the nose guard. Penalty is declined. The result of the play. First down.
I'll tell you what, I know we're only, well, a little less than 3 minutes into this game, but this has been a very impressive opening drive for the Cleveland Browns.
Mike Pettin got quoted a lot this past week, the head coach of the Browns, for a lot of things he said in the Seattle media. One thing that probably got overlooked, he said, we're going to cut it loose today. I guarantee you my team's going to come to play, and so far he's been right.
Well, Ray Farmer, their general manager, told you the same thing. Well, get in the hands of Benjamin. Wide receiver screen. Now comes back the other way. Got a couple of blocks. Still on his feet. And turns it into a 9-yard gain. Good block again by Marlon Moore. And, you know, putting any kind of successful drive together against Seattle for the last month. Look at this. Last 21 drives, the Seahawks defense is not allowed a touchdown.
Chris Richard, the first-year defensive coordinator, worked his way up through the system to become the DC. Really fashioned together an excellent defense late in the season. For this first drive, Cleveland is taxing them with a lot of different formations, movement, and cutback-type plays against flow.
Extra tight end Dre in front of Crowell. He has enough for a first down. He's close to the 20-yard line. Crowell, you may remember last year as a rookie, shared time with another rookie. We just saw him last week, Terrence West. Both of them had pretty good years. Crowell rushed for over 600 yards, had 8 touchdowns, and he should surpass those rushing yards from a year ago with 3 games to play.
Crowell understands what it takes to try and be a pro. West working towards that, trying to keep his career going.
Not much room that time by Crowell. Gain of a yard, maybe 2. Understand Greco has a knee injury, and his return is questionable. So Irving, who just lost his starting job as a left guard 2 weeks ago, now appears to be in line for a lot of snaps and right guard.
And that's what happens when you're a rookie and you're a swing guy. He's got to be able to play center. both guard positions, and this is a chance to start redeeming himself. Last 2 starts weren't as impressive as what he needed.
Maybe even a little bit of special teams for a rookie, right?
Yeah, exactly, where he's had trouble on field goal protection.
Good protection there, but thrown into traffic trying to find Jim Dre, and Kelsey McRae bats it away.
This is going to bring up a 3rd and long. This is Dre, 81. Another one of those Stanford tight ends that finds his way into the league and lasts a long time because they're usually complete players. And that's where Dre's forte is in blocking, unable to come down with the catch. If you're Seattle here, what you're worried about most is Johnny Football decide to take off and try and pick one up with his feet. They want to keep him in the pocket throwing it as opposed to him breaking out and running it.
Wide open. What a beautifully designed play. And getting lost, and how do you lose Duke Johnson, who now has 51 receptions on the year? It is 1st and goal, Browns.
He just gets out here to the flat, and Duke Johnson, as you pointed out, Tom, with that number of catches, he came to the game the 2nd leading receiver amongst running backs in the AFC. So if that's the case, you treat him as a receiver, not as a running back when you're talking about coverage.
Well, apparently Pete Carroll is going to challenge this call. Did he have the ball all the way through?
Today's game is sponsored by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide.
Well, we went to break showing you the ball being fumbled out of bounds, and we wondered, did he have, you know, the process through the process of the catch? On further look, it appears to be more of a reception and then a fumble.
I would agree totally with that. Forget process. That's a catch and fumble to me.
Yeah, he secured the ball against his body there, and then it got knocked out.
All right, now the judiciary.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. It was a catch, fumble prior to going out of bounds. Will be Cleveland ball, 1st and goal at the 8-yard line. Seattle will be charged with their first timeout. Seattle has 1 challenge remaining in the game.
Of course, Mike Pereira, it's a never-ending debate about what is a catch in this day and age, is it not?
Well, it is, but no referee will ever go against the 3 of you when you agree.
Absolutely.
It's a process. Mike was a process. The key was he was on his feet. He wasn't going to the ground. So he got controlled 2 feet, turned up field, 3rd step, then ball came loose, fumble out of bounds. That's the correct ruling. It was a catch and a fumble.
Charles, I'm going to tell you what, I think you and Mike are going to the same tailor. You guys are looking good, man. Off to the left side, not much running room there. Maybe a yard for Crowell. Be checking in with Mike Pereira throughout the day.
Really nice first drive for Cleveland, though, isn't it, guys? I mean, you can talk all you want about turning it loose when you're 3 and 10 and playing with nothing to lose and playing loose, but you're playing Seattle, one of the hottest teams in the league. You still have to go and prove it. This first drive will go a long way for Cleveland getting things started.
Yeah, they got to sustain it, though. They got to do it in 4 quarters.
Crowell, maybe a yard, and for the first time, let's check in back in Los Angeles for a game break.
What an incredible comeback in the Meadowlands. Giants down 28 to the undefeated Panthers. Roar all the way back. Eli to OBJ on 4th and 5. We are tied at 35. 28 unanswered for the Giants. Less than 2 minutes left.
How about that G-men?
Unbelievable. That was a 35-7 game.
And that battle between OBJ and Josh Norman, that'll rage all the way through. Imagine if they meet up again in the playoffs.
There'll be fines in that game. 3rd down and goal. Manziel flushed out of the pocket. Look out. Throws. And it is Barnidge who is just tied Ozzie Newsome for the Browns' all-time record for receiving touchdowns in a season by a tight end. What a drive to start this one for Cleveland.
What a throw by Johnny Manziel across his body.
And Tony, it's down there near you. I'm going to tell you now that congratulations on the touchdown. I would have preferred he run the football here.
Yeah, he had an opportunity
because he throws back against his body into traffic, and it's an excellent throw to Barnidge. But look at the space that he could have taken it and taken it up towards the end zone. Great job, terrific touchdown. But I thought in that case, I probably would have tucked it and counted on his feet a little bit more. But guess what? Doesn't matter. That's 6 points for Cleveland.
Manziel 6 out of 8 on the drive, 60 yards and a touchdown. That opening drive chewing up almost 7 minutes of this opening quarter, and the point after is good by Travis Coons. Well, well, well. What a start for the Brownies.
Today's game is sponsored by Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL.
Perhaps a bit stunned, this Seattle defense. 15 plays. That is a season-long drive, scoring drive for the Browns, and we mentioned advantage. Now even with the Hall of Famer, the great Ozzie Newsome, for a franchise record, most receiving touchdowns by a tight end.
Now, did you say a 15-play drive? Every team you talk to when they get ready to play Seattle, the first thing they talk about with the Seattle defense is they don't give up big chunk plays, big yardage plays. They force you to run extra plays to drive it downfield, wanting you to make a mistake. Cleveland did none of that on the opening drive. 15 plays, cashed it in.
Short kick. Coons has been bothered by a tender groin all week long. And the return by Lockett, the rookie, up to the 31-yard line. Well, a good start for Manziel in Seattle. Wilson and the Hawks try and answer when we return.
Today's game is sponsored by Mobile Strike. Download and play now, free from the App Store.
How good has Russell Wilson been over the last 4 games? Best in the NFL, 75%. 16 touch passes, 0 interceptions. Most in the NFL. Quarterback rating, tops in the NFL. Only quarterback to lead the league in all 3 categories over a 4-week span all year long. Now, the big story, though, for Seattle offensively is the run game. They are the #1 rushing team in the NFL again this year. They run the ball the second most of any team in the NFL, behind only Carolina. But now they're #5 on their depth chart for a lead running back.
Yeah, and just think about that, because Derek Coleman was really a fullback, and he'll start the game as the lead runner, and they've signed Bryce Brown and Christian Michael just this week.
Back-to-back carries for Coleman. 3rd down and 7 coming up. Let's get an update on that Panther game. Trying to stay unbeaten. Here's Mike Hill in L.A.
And they do. Giants scored 28 unanswered. The Titans scored 35, but Graham Gano from 43 yards out as time expires. Great comeback by the Giants, but the Panthers now 14-0, 38-35, your final from the Meadowlands.
And Cam Newton. Tell you what, Charles, it'd be hard not to look at him right now. For my money, as a league MVP.
I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I don't think any other quarterback in the league would be undefeated playing the style they play in Carolina.
Free play by Seattle.
Yep, and then contact in the secondary. No flag back there. But there was a flag at the line of scrimmage. Tramon Williams getting locked up with Kevin Smith. They call Smith one a day because every practice he scores a touchdown. One a day.
Offside. Defense number 99. 5-yard penalty. Replay, 3rd down.
Pete Carroll still can't believe no call in the secondary here.
Yeah, he's working. He's good. Well, look at this. He grabs it before the ball gets there. So Mike Weatherford, who's the field judge, absolutely shocked that there's no call that comes on this play. Normally you get both people kind of hand fighting and you leave it alone, but that looked to me like Tramon Williams had jumped on the receiver, Kevin Smith, before the ball got there. No flag. Pete Carroll and crew unhappy, but they did get 5 yards on the offsides.
But it's not an automatic 1st down. It's 3rd and 3. And they will convert on the completion to Jermaine Kearse. When he is smothered at midfield, they'll move the chains. Now, Cleveland defensively has had a tough year. Ranks 26 in the league. But what have you done for me lately? 9 sacks in the win over the Niners a week ago.
Yeah, Jim O'Neill, their defensive coordinator, preached all year long that sacks tend to come in bunches. And they got a bushel full last week. And right now they're hoping to see Nate Orchard, number 44, continue to ascend as a pass rusher for their defense.
Wilson, crossing pattern, and the reception made by Cooper Helford. They do have an injury to the tight end Wilson, although he is active today.
Had hurt his ribs and actually ended up practicing all week. They were stunned by how quickly he was able to get back into the fray. He's a tough kid. Had a key drop against Baltimore, but they've really liked his dependability all year long. And who they have out there now? Looks like Fred Jackson now, the third down back coming into the game.
Split far to the right, top of your screen, empty backfield on a 2nd down and 6. Wilson will run it. And did he get enough for a 1st down? He did.
How about Russell Wilson? Watch the patience in the pocket, and then when he decides to step up and go, right here, he's keeping his eyes downfield at this point, running the pass. Now he goes, watch, straight arm here, and watch a little crow hop right at the end to pick up the 1st down, understanding exactly where the sticks were.
Big league right there.
Give it to Coleman for a 3rd time. Positive yardage here to the 33-yard line.
Strange seeing 2 fullbacks in the backfield, guys, huh?
Yeah, it is.
A lot of beef back there, man. Woo.
And Tony, not only have the 2 fullbacks back there, they brought in Alvin Bailey, 78, an extra offensive lineman in to add to the run blocking game. So he's out in front. Then you get Will Tuguafu, wears number 46, but looks like another offensive lineman running out of the backfield, leading for another fullback, that being, Coleman.
If you're wondering, that's 600 pounds of beef and 2 human beings leading the way. To Lockett, and very close to a 1st down. Needed to get to the 29, wrapped up by the local kid. One of a couple of them on this Cleveland defense. Xavier Cooper played collegiately in Washington State.
Yeah, from Tacoma. You know, the first game Cooper saw here in this stadium from a suite, Marcus Trufant's suite, who played at Washington State.
Right.
Invited him and a few teammates to watch a game. Now he's down there playing on the field. Dream come true for him.
In fact, they both went to the same high school, Wilson High School in Tacoma, Washington. Coleman to the 25. Wrapped up by Nate Orchard.
Tony, you've seen cushions that Cleveland was giving in pass coverage on this drive. Looks like they're trying to tighten it up here. Want to see if Russell Wilson asks his receivers just go and convert and take a shot at the end zone if they play press.
I thought that they were going to go and press him a little bit more, not give him the free release off the line of scrimmage, make Russell have to work a little bit more. But it seems like they're up on line of scrimmage and they're backing up, still giving a little bit of that cushion. You can't give receivers like this that are this good. Look at the receivers, the defensive backs on the bottom of the screen there. I know this was a run, but you can't give 10-yard cushions when the guy only needs 5 yards.
First carry is a Seahawk. First carry in this NFL season for the former Eagle, and for a short while Buffalo Bill Bryce Brown brought in this week. He had a very good rookie year in 2012, almost 600 rushing yards, almost 5 yards a carry. Numbers dipped in 13, was traded to Buffalo, had some fumble problems there. They let him go. Cleveland worked him out a couple of times and now signed him and playing this week. Wilson on the run, and that is a catch at the 14-yard line by Baldwin, and now they're saying no, not a catch. Big hit by Dante Whitner.
See, Wilson, when he moves with a purpose, and that's the play you just described right there. Dante Whitner at the end of the play, it looks like a completion, but because of the hit and jars it, he kept the football. So are they saying his feet were out? Because if that's the case, I think they're wrong. I think both feet were actually in.
I think that right foot came up before he had possession of the ball there.
Okay, thank you, Tony.
You got it, Charles.
2nd down and 10 at the Cleveland 19-yard line. Bryce Brown for a gain of 2. Wrapped up by Armonte Bryant. That'll bring up 3rd down.
Now, I know that they've lost the runners, right? You lose Marshawn Lynch. You lose Thomas Rawls. You sign 2 guys this week. You move your fullback over to be the lead runner. But Tony, have you seen them change identity at all, Seattle?
Not at all.
It's still a run-first team, power-first team. Doesn't matter who's running it right now. And Russell Wilson throwing off of that.
Look, we're almost out of the first quarter. Got a minute 44 left. I mean, both of these teams want to make this a short game, especially Cleveland. They want to limit Seattle with the amount of time.
Cleveland.
Well, the Browns put together a 15-play drive. This upcoming play will be the 12th for the Seahawks, but an important third down when we return. Cleveland 7, Seattle nothing, 1:41 to play in this quick moving opening quarter. A third down.
And that's not a tailback, right? That's not a tailback. Isn't that Lockett?
Yep.
Going out there. Watch something to the backside, one-on-one.
Quartet of receivers at the bottom of your screen. You're right to the backside. And broken up in the end zone, and a flag comes in. Bonomosi in coverage. And having words over that flag.
Pass interference. Defense, number 24. Penalty occurs in the end zone. Ball will be spotted at the 1-yard line. First and goal.
See, Bonomosi, he ends up playing the man and not the ball, and goes right through him before the ball gets there. I mean, he never does locate the football. He's trying to play curse instead of locating the ball and playing curse, and he's into his body before the ball gets there. Nice job by Curse being able to try and get the ball, but excellent call by the officials and the easy pass interference.
I like how Curse turned around. Watch him just going down to the ground and see the official. He threw the flag.
Coleman wrapped up in the backfield by the rookie out of Washington, former Auburn High School star. About a half hour from here, that's Danny Shelton, the #1 pick this year.
Just look in here. It's a whole lot of man coming at you. What a great job of him bull rushing the center, Patrick Lewis, and making the play. You know what the Browns did in pregame for the coin toss? They sent out all the guys with Washington State ties here. Xavier Cooper went out. Danny Shelton played at the University of Washington. Travis Coons played at the University of Washington. They went out for the coin flip. Shelton put a little extra motivation back at home.
Second down and goal. They fake the handoff. Wilson looking around, being chased, gets rid of it, and it'll bring up third down and goal. Paul Kruger, by and large, has had a very quiet year after a big season a year ago where he had 11 sacks and he was in hot pursuit.
Yeah, they don't have him rushing the quarterback the same way, but he's rushing him here. But what made the play was the backside defense. It was a misdirection play. They should all flow to the right, tried to sneak a receiver back left, but Cleveland covered it so well there was nowhere to go with the football. He forced it, but really he was forcing it just to throw it away so he wouldn't take a sack.
47 ticks remain in this opening quarter. 14th play of the drive. Third down and goal from the 3. Into the corner, and that is a touchdown. Who else would it be? Doug Baldwin.
So we're going to go in here, right? Watch Baldwin comes here. Curse comes inside. And no screen. See, a lot of times you end up with what's called a rub route or a pick route, as the defensive back would say. But in that case, no bodies colliding. They just ran the route and essentially confused them on it. Baldwin gets to the end zone, as you described it, Tom. Of course, Doug Baldwin with a touchdown catch.
9th touchdown in the last 3 games in 1 quarter. That's his 12th touchdown of the year. And that ties him with Steve Largent and Joey Galloway for the second most in a season by a Seahawks wide receiver. That's the reason we asked the question, Charles. Who else would it be besides Doug Baldwin? In fact, this combination, 9 touchdowns in a 4-game span, tying Brett Favre and Sterling Sharp most during that kind of stretch all time.
Quick editorial comment. Sterling Sharp just didn't play enough years. That's a Hall of Fame football player.
Oh, yeah. Very true.
That's a Hall of Fame football player. I mean, when you watched him play, he's probably second to Jerry Rice for that stretch of time. An absolute beast. And why he doesn't get more Hall of Fame attention is beyond me. But that's it. Now I'm off my soapbox.
It's all right. Oh, Mostert, his first game as a Brown, going to bring it out of the end zone, and at least his coach won't say, can you at least get it to the 20?
Got there and popped out right at the end. But how about the first touchdown? We always talk about the mobility of these guys and their ability to extend a play. How about Johnny Manziel? Look at our snap to release clock here. 5 seconds worth. But look at what he's looking at. He's looking here, and I thought he could have run it as well. And what an excellent throw. And had a chance to talk with the Browns coach in pregame, and all they talked about was this guy may be small, but he can hum the football on the run and from the pocket. And he just showed us why right there.
You got offensive coordinator John DeFilippo for Cleveland. A lot of misdirection. He wanted to keep this defense off balance. He wanted to run the clock out. Things he talked about yesterday to us, and he got that done in that first quarter.
Manziel dropped all the way back at the 11-yard line. Brandon Mebane, rock solid presence for 9 years in the middle of this stout Seahawk defense.
And I'll never be able to unsee the sack dance.
Come on, the big guys can move.
My goodness, Brandon Mebane is a heck of a player.
Look at that right there. That's the belly dance of belly dances right there.
And guys,
go get it, Mebane.
That was a guy that they missed down the stretch last year in the playoffs in the Super Bowl. Brandon Mebane hurt, and that hurt their overall defense.
Tony, is that called the belly dance or the boiler dance?
It could be anything you want.
I like boiler.
I like sexy dance.
Set to begin the second quarter, 7-7 game. After the sack of Manziel by Mebane, second down and 18.
Perfect spot for a screen.
In essence, a wide receiver screen. Early dropping Benjamin. Tony, the musical accompaniment, please.
Bow, down, and out, down, 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 bow, 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 bow.
Would you call that a fuel tank?
That's a fuel tank for the big boys, man. The big boy fuel tank right there.
Tony, somewhere the White Shadow is going to sue you.
Third down and 14. Manziel the screen that did not fool the Seattle defense, and KJ Wright leading the charge. It's 3 and out this go round for Manziel and the Browns.
Yeah, Cleveland talked about having to do different things with protections to combat this pass rush. Change those up, max protect sometimes, move the pocket with Manziel, move him around, and throw 4 to 5 screens. And I thought this was an ideal spot. I missed it by a play, but they finally tried one, and look at the speed of Seattle just running it down.
The electrifying rookie Tyler Lockett. Very first NFL game, he brought back a punt for a touchdown. Short punt. Takes a favorable bounce for the Browns, and Lockett is dragged down at his own 43. You know, the UFC starts the new year off with a bang. Begins on FS1. The return of the phenom Michael McDonald. UFC 185. Beginning with a prelim Saturday, January the 2nd, 7:30 Eastern only on FS1, streaming live on Fox Sports Go.
The UFC's on a heck of a run right now. McGregor with the big 13-second win. Dos Anjos, I believe is how you pronounce it, last night. A huge second-round TKO. Got some of their stars coming. Of course, as soon as he won, he wanted McGregor. And who everybody wants the champ. Could be a lot of fun to watch how that develops in 2016.
Hey, Charles, you're on top of it all. We could be talking about UFC, golf,
anything,
women's volleyball.
You know what that tells you, doesn't it? I have no life.
Take it one way, come back the other. Wilson looking for the goods. And batted down. Excellent coverage down there by the rookie out of Louisville, Charles Gaines, playing in place of the injured Pro Bowler Joe Hayden again this week. Hayden now through for the year.
Now watch, he's going to beat him and have this route open. And it's there. He just doesn't get it out there quite far enough to give him a chance for him to make a play. But the reason why is because watch at the end of it, he gets the pressure from Carlos Dansby right through the midsection. And he can't get all he wants on the throw.
Well, you know, the offensive line has been the hot button topic. It certainly was early in this season for Seattle as Wilson throws and This time the catch made by Baldwin. He stepped out of bounds about a yard short of the first down. First 7 games of the year. This offensive line allowed 31 sacks. They've only allowed 8 in the last 6.
They've really come together. And look at this catch by Doug Baldwin. Not only is he locked in with touchdown catches, he's locked in, period. His numbers are not going to just totally jump off the screen in terms of number of catches at the end of the year. But if he's not having a Pro Bowl season, I don't know what receiver is. He's doing everything for them now. He's really jumped to the front, especially since the injury to Jimmy Graham.
Kristen Michael in the game takes a pitch. This will be a first down run and then some. Michael, a second-round pick in 2013, traded in September to Dallas. Was released, went to the Redskin practice squad, released. Talented player, but very inconsistent. And you look at, with Rawls down and Lynch out, Wilson by far their leading rusher coming into this one.
And what's been interesting today, just one run today, and that was off of a scramble off of a pass. They're not even calling the quarterback runs with him right now, trying to find out what the other guys have until now.
Sliding down to the 21-yard line. That'll be a gain of 18 on a first down carry by Wilson.
And Tony, Nate Orchard, the rookie, number 44, I think he got caught peeking.
Yeah, he did. Down inside. You got to stay outside, keep your shoulders square to the line of scrimmage so you can come back out on that and have an angle to him. I think people go when they underestimate Russell Wilson and his speed.
See that? He's got his eyes towards Kristen Michael. Russell Wilson pulls it. And Russell told us he wants to hand it off 99% of the time. But that 1% where he keeps is pretty valuable.
Good protection and a strike into very good coverage on the far side by Batamosi. But Lockett to the 15-yard line. It'll bring up second down and 2.
The one thing that was really missed about Tyler Lockett when he came out last year in the draft, his toughness. People talk about his talent and they wanted to ding him for his size and the whole deal. Absolute tough guy. He's blocked on this drive so far. He ran a real physical route there to make a very tough contested catch.
Bryce Brown, very close depending on where they spotted his forward progress to a first down. Charles gets to the 18. Pardon me, Tony.
That's okay. No, you talk about toughness. That should be the first thing that scouts should be looking at, shouldn't it be?
Well, I think a lot of them do, but a lot of the times you start to look at the other things and then some other shiny object catches your eye, as you know, Tony. And you start dinging guys down, and later on you go, I should have done that. I've done it enough myself. I'm not a paid scout, but I've done it enough myself in evaluation where I go, I knew that, and I still messed it up. It's a tough deal.
Toughness would be number one. I've seen a lot of guys look like Tarzan and play like Jane over my career.
Kristen Michael, a bruising run inside the 10, down to the 6.
Man, running like a man possessed on this run.
And he knows this might be his last opportunity, guys. This was a second-round pick that didn't really pay off in Seattle. Gets traded to Dallas. It doesn't work well. Goes to Washington. Gets cut in Washington. He's got a new life, a new attitude, and a great opportunity. And that run there, that's the type of run Pete Carroll wants. What does he tell us? We want the other team to feel us when we run the football. That's right.
Brown in motion. They fake it to him. Come back the other way. Not him again. That's what defenses in the NFL are saying about Baldwin.
Inside the red zone, that's one guy you want to find. We're going to flag down on this play, guys.
Holding defense, number 24. That penalty is declined.
This is unbelievable. This is 10 touchdowns in 3 games in a little more than a quarter.
So here's Baldwin here, and he's going to come back through the trash and the traffic to find his way free and then get into the end zone for the touchdown. And more misdirection by Seattle. They tried it earlier. Something similar. Cleveland covered it. This time they went even more exotic and ran Baldwin all the way across flow and into the end zone for a score.
Seattle, its first lead of the game. And a point after by Hauschka is good. 4 straight games with 2 or more. receiving touchdowns for Baldwin, who's just tied a franchise record.
Today's game is sponsored by Ram Trucks. Guts, glory, Ram.
However Santa Claus can get there. And we're hoping that he'll be coming to your house in just less than a handful of days now, Charles. Santa Claus is coming to town.
Is that lump of coal still in play?
Thanks to Charles Hopper and Tim Kunaholm at the Seattle Aquarium for helping out our crew. Those great shots of a diving Santa yesterday. 14-7. Mostert playing Chris Brown for the first time and has some running room. Out across the 30 with a kicker to beat. And close to midfield depending on the spot in the 48-yard line. An excellent return. The Browns needed that. Let's hope Santa can hold on to those presents.
Not much of a receiver.
I'm Colonel James Creasel, Combined Joint Task Force, Horn of Africa. Big Christmas shout out to my family and friends in Seattle, Washington. I'll be back soon.
God bless you, Colonel James Creasel from right here in Seattle, and all of those who have served, are serving, or will serve. Standing tall, proud, and strong for the United States of America. They hand it off to Crowell and back to the line of scrimmage. And you know, fellas, the Browns, a 15-play drive, touchdown drive, then a 3-and-out. Seattle 2 possessions, 2 touchdowns. Feels like an important drive, even though we have 9.5 to go in the second quarter.
I like how you phrased it. It feels like one, even though you probably wouldn't say this is the most crucial drive of the game. But the way Seattle's been locked in on offense over the last month, it's important for Cleveland to get something done on this drive.
Yeah, they need some kind of misdirection, some kind of gadget play, or something to spark them up a little bit.
Dump it off to Johnson out of the backfield. That's that misdirection. He leapfrogs one tackler, spins out of another, and now lunges forward to the 29. What an impressive catch and run by the rookie out of Miami.
And look who takes him down, too. Meebane all the way from the line of scrimmage. That's what you call hustle from a defensive lineman.
But, Tony, you talked about what they needed. That's pretty good misdirection, isn't it?
Absolutely. You know, you got a lot of stuff going on in the backside. You know, as a defensive lineman and linebacker, when you're looking up, you're seeing things go to the right, to the left. You really don't know. You don't get a feel of where that ball's going, and it slows you down a little bit. That's what the misdirection does to aggressive teams that run to the ball. But I don't know. Eventually, you're going to run out of those plays, and you're going to have to go toe-to-toe, and we're going to see what happens when that goes down.
Fake throw, little delayed draw right there to Crowell, and a good pickup, a gain of 5, maybe 6 on first down.
And I wouldn't be surprised if the Browns get into a decent spot in the red zone. If you see them go to an empty set, most quarterbacks in the NFL, you don't run quarterback draw because you don't want him hit. But they have almost nothing to lose here. And that's one of the staple plays for Johnny Manziel. John DeFilippo, I'm betting that's in the playbook today. We may not see it, but I think it's there if they get inside the red zone and let him use his feet.
I agree, absolutely in that playbook.
Empty backfield. Trips to the left, including Johnson, and now Manziel looking around. Really, that's a sloppy throw. He had enough time there to set his feet and make a good throw to Dre for what would have been a first down.
You know what I think's happening with Johnny? What I think was happening with Johnny Manziel is that he's learning to be a more mature quarterback, and he's caught between sometimes. But the good old days, he just goes. He takes off, and the wild child comes out in him. Here, he stops it and says, I can be a pro, throw it downfield. He just doesn't make an accurate throw.
He's been very good so far today. Browns have been lights out converting on third down, especially against Seattle. 4 on the play clock. Will they get it off in time? Look like early movement. No flag down. And there is a flag on the far side. This one might hurt Seattle.
They got off. I think they were offsides on the play. It looked like the left defensive end was in the backfield.
Yep.
And this would be an automatic first down.
Offside. Defense, number 56, at 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
That's a big play in this game.
I mean, they had him in a spot there where they were going to force him to make a decision about going for it or kicking a field goal. Instead, they get a new set of downs. Cliff Averill off the charts real fast.
But he saw the game clock counting down, and as a defensive line, when it gets down to 1, you got to go. Because if they don't snap the ball, they're going to get a penalty to delay a game. But his timing was a little bit off on that play.
Crowell cuts it back and is close to the 15-yard line. That would be a gain of 5 on first down for Isaiah Crowell.
So one of the things that Browns have struggled with, obviously, has been red zone production all year long. All right, when you look at their red zone, it's been 43% touchdowns. That's last in the AFC. They need bigger receivers. That means Gary Barnidge, the tight end. I thought Terrell Pryor might be in this set, but he is not. They have a lot of small receivers they try and throw to him.
Quick slant. That looked like Benjamin should have made that catch. You wondered, did Sherman get his hand in there to bat it away? That looked like a good throw.
It's just so difficult when you're talking about Travis Benjamin at 5'10", 175, and the length of Richard Sherman at 6'3", 195, who goes right through and strips the ball clean. Watch. Benjamin's got a chance. Well, the ball went through Benjamin, but Sherman was there to try and make the play.
But Benjamin's got to make that play.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you're going to beat Seattle on the road, that's a catch you have to make.
Missed opportunities.
Third down, they're coming after Manziel, and he is able to get it away. It was wrapped up by Urban, and it's incomplete. And out comes the field goal unit for Cleveland.
Yeah, and this was designed to come here from Terrell Pryor, number 17, but they didn't have a chance. This got blown up quickly. There's the pressure from the outside, and then the pressure from the inside. Look like Bruce Irvin, 51, working inside. He's got the grasp of Johnny Football's legs and doesn't allow him to make a really good throw. It's like, all right, my man, respect.
So right now, guys, just a little update. Got a little bit of decline in the weather. It's starting to drizzle a little bit down here on the field, and the wind's picking up.
34-yard field goal try. He's had 3 blocked this year. His only 3 misses for the former Washington Husky Travis Coons, but this one through the uprights. And the Browns come away with 3. We're in Seattle. Tony hanging down there at the farmer's market. Charles is on Mount Rainier.
Today's game is sponsored by Burger King. Now get 10 chicken nuggets for $1.49 only at BK.
Welcome back to Seattle. We were suspecting, we understood there was a likelihood of rain in the forecast, and as Tony mentioned just a moment ago, a very light rain and temperatures dropping as this afternoon wears on. Lockett, 3 yards out of his own end zone across the 10, and great coverage by the Browns. Dropped right there. You know, you look at some of the quarterbacks who have thrown 3 or more touchdowns with 0 interceptions over a 4-game stretch. I mean, these are a who's who. Brady will be in the Hall of Fame. Manning will be in the Hall of Fame. Rodgers will be in the Hall of Fame. And now you have
Number
Wilson.
78.
16 touchdowns in the last 4 games. 0 interceptions. And by the way, we mentioned Baldwin with 2 more touchdown receptions today. Has 13 on the year, which ties the Seahawks single-season record, which he shares with Darrell Turner all the way back in 1985. Christian Michael for a gain of 3, maybe 4. And take a look at this. Mentioned earlier, his first one of the day. How about the names Galloway and Largent? And now Turner.
Largent's a Hall of Famer. Galloway, a very productive NFL player.
Former Buckeye.
I think he could probably run 4.3 now. I mean, it's amazing. Absolutely amazing. And just think, their last Pro Bowl wide receiver, Brian Blades in 1989.
Second down carry again to Michael, and he's to, looks like about the 19-yard line. They actually spotted the return at the 12. Shelton there to trip him up. It brings up third down. And we talked about the Browns on offense before that last drive. They had the big return by Mostert of 53 yards. And you can say the same thing about their defense. This defense needs a stop.
And this is a prime place for it. Look at the field position. If they're able to get the stop here, get the football back after just kicking a field goal, they can help bring the momentum back towards their side of the ball.
Luke Wilson, a tight end there in motion. Penalty flag comes down.
They might have gotten him to jump into the neutral zone.
Delay of game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
Saw him jump right at the end, and turned out that they were jumping because of what you had talked about earlier, Tony. They see the clock winding down as defensive linemen. It's time to go, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And, if you could get that get off right at the 1, 9 times out of 10, you're going to be golden on the pass rush.
Let's see if they dial up some pressure here. The Cleveland Browns, they're known for being a little exotic. Do they get after Russell Wilson here or not?
Only a 3-man rush on a 3rd down and 7. Well, you give this guy that kind of time, I mean, you could just file it away. That's a first down to the 36-yard line. Catch by Curse. 3-man rush.
You got 8 guys covered. You can't cover everybody in the backside.
And then how about the capper at the end? Guys, how about this catch? This ball's high. He's got to go up and get it, and knows that he's exposing himself to a big hit from a defender. Tashawn Gibson's on the play. But look at Curse. He doesn't care. He goes up and gets it, secures it, takes the shot, and picks up a first down.
Baldwin got on the pub last week with all the touchdown catches, but Curse had a nice day. He led the team with 7 receptions. And now looking for the long ball and Lockett. Great coverage downfield again by the rookie Gaines.
On that first deep shot they took earlier in the game, Gaines was beaten and the ball was behind. On this one, you nailed it, Tom. Terrific coverage. He sees the receiver, pins him over there, gets his head back towards the football. Yeah, you put that on a training reel and show guys how to play that route. Well played by Charles Gaines. Well, what receiver has ever thought that they weren't interfered with? I want to meet that guy.
Second down. And spun down is Brown at the 40-yard line. So another 3rd down coming up for this Seattle offense. They were 8 of 11 a week ago, and during this 4-game winning streak on 3rd down, Darrell Bevell's offense converting over 64% of their 3rd downs. We saw Lockett in the backfield and then leave it a moment ago. They'll do the same thing here.
Last time they went backside to the one-on-one route.
And they do it again. Stepping right inside Tramon Williams is Curse. And that's a first down into Cleveland territory to the 47.
They really kind of go Houdini on you. They send everybody over here, but the route's over here. They just want to clear space, and they count on Curse to win the one-on-one on the perimeter, which he does against Tramon Williams.
Tramon Williams gave that inside release there. He attacked the outside shoulder. That's not what you want to do in that situation.
Strong running there by Michael. And that's a gain of 8. Patrick Lewis, their center, of course, who wound up snatching that job away. They had Drew Newalk that was there early in the year, and now it's Lewis.
And look at the effort. They always talk about the initial, and then they talk about the strain. The strain being the extra effort that you make on a play. And Christine Michael, he really wants to keep a job in the NFL. And if you can't do it here in Seattle with Pete Carroll, it'll make it hard to find one elsewhere.
Well, he didn't do it the first time.
But that's why this is the last shot. You got to make it work.
Wilson scrambling. Got a chip there on Kruger. And then run out of bounds. Very close to another first down.
Yeah, it was Justin Britt that helped him, wasn't it?
So will take us to the 2-minute warning. Cleveland hanging in there, 14-10. Get apps, video, and more at iTunes.com/NFL. Both quarterbacks on top of their respective games here today. You expect as much from Wilson, but Manziel now making his 5th start of the year. Back-to-back games coming off a winning effort against the Niners a week ago.
Yeah, see the thing there, the 0 rush yards?
That's the biggest shocker to me, too, Charles.
That's the thing, but he's really tempered that inner wild child. But I think they've got to let it come out a little bit. I think that helps their offense when he picks up yards with his feet.
First down. Fake it one way, fake it another way. Wilson's going to run it, does not slide. And, man, he took a shot from Dansby and Bryant.
They sniffed out that screen that they were trying to set up on the right side.
You know, overall today, I think Cleveland's defense has done a nice job with the misdirection stuff. I know Baldwin scored a touchdown on one, but there have been a few times they've tried some misdirection screens or throwbacks that Cleveland's defense, as you noted, Tony, had sniffed out and played very well.
It was actually Kirksey, Christian Kirksey, who was in on that tackle of Wilson, so I beg your pardon. Minute 15 to go, 10th play of the drive. Dropped by Curse, 3rd down. Let's send it to Kurt Menefee for a game break in L.A.
About the only thing that's gone wrong for Denver is they missed the extra point after this touchdown run by Brock Osweiler. They're up 20-7 early on in the second quarter at the Steelers. A little bit of a surprise. Tom, Charles, and Deuce.
I think it's more than a little bit of a surprise right now the way the Steelers have been playing of late.
Yeah, you know, we talk about that, but you know, this is a statement game for Denver too. Remember, they lost last week at home to Oakland. And people keep saying, is it going to be Peyton coming back? What's the deal with Osweiler? They need one of those stand-up type wins as well themselves. No better one than in Pittsburgh today.
And next Sunday they have Cincinnati coming to Denver.
This is huge.
Another big game. Wilson dancing around, looking for room, decides to keep it himself, and he's short of a first down, well short at the 31. So this would be close to a 50-yard try by Hauschka.
How about the coverage here by Cleveland? The reason he has to tuck it and run is he can't find anyone that is open enough for him to throw the football. Front side, you look back here. Kerr's trying to run the underneath route. Got a guy lurking out there and gains 43. That sets it up for Hauschka. Nice defense by Cleveland.
Only one miss all year long by Hauschka. He's 4 of 4 from 50 and beyond. This one will be marked right at the 39, 49-yard try. High snap. And he still drilled it. It is good by Hauschka with 55 seconds left until halftime. Seahawks on the home front with a 7-point lead. Final minute of this opening half. Coming up in January, the celebration begins. We kick off the farewell year of American Idol, the show that made so many superstars ready to discover an idol one final time. Farewell year begins Wednesday, January the 6th, only on Fox.
And I had planned to try out next year.
You did.
Darn it.
Darn it.
Me
when
too.
they were passing through Orlando.
Missed it by 1 year.
Mostert's had a couple of very good returns and has that one out across the 20-yard line.
The Visa halftime show is right around the corner, and so are the holidays. So here at Fox, some of the staff have been decking the halls to get in the spirit. But honestly, some people are taking it a bit too far.
Yeah, Coach Johnson, can I get back to work now?
Sit still, son. I'm almost done.
Coach coaches them up in every situation. Guys, you remember last week in Baltimore what Seattle did right before the half? They took the ball away and put a touchdown on the board.
Yeah, took the air right out of it.
If you're Cleveland, you got to be careful and conscious of that right here. Seattle trying to put some pressure on them in a good situation.
2 timeouts remaining, and Manziel going to throw it at least on first down. Great protection. And the catch is made, a first down, and still on his feet. Before being dropped is Duke Johnson Jr. at the 25-yard line.
Offensive line did a nice job on that one. Give Johnny Manziel plenty of time to look downfield.
It did, and the other part, Johnny stayed there. Didn't flush immediately. A lot of times when that clock went off when he was younger in his career, he'd go off a lot quicker and just take off and go. He hangs in there now, tries to find someone open and delivers.
Yeah, but like you talked about, if he did threaten him a little bit, he might be able to pull some of those guys in coverage to come up the line of scrimmage and try to tackle Manziel and have a receiver open downfield.
Johnny steps up, throws, and actually that was good defense by Travis Benjamin, the Cleveland receiver, to have that one from being picked off by Jeremy Lane.
Yeah, I like how you turned it around. The receiver becomes the corner because Jeremy Lane has him pinned perfectly and is playing the football. And as you noted, Tom, if Benjamin doesn't come over and make a defensive back play and knock it free, that's an interception by Lane.
Third down and 7, and up under center is Manziel, now back in shotgun formation. Might be a free play here for Manziel. Being chased and just throws. Trying to tiptoe along that sideline, Benjamin, but it's too far out of his reach.
Tony, I don't want to I don't want to get into the wrong spot here, but how many times is Seattle going to jump when they don't flat out need to?
Yeah.
Offside. Defense. Number 55. 5-yard penalty. Replay. Third down.
I know they live with a certain amount of penalties because of their aggressiveness, but they hurt themselves. They get situations that they create where they're winning, and they're going to get the ball back. Maybe a shot to get something cheap before the half. Instead, they jump off sides and give another play and burn more clock.
Yeah, Wagner and Clark had a little game going on, and one saw the other one going, and they both took off, and that's the problem when you get a little bit too aggressive. Got to stay on sides. Keep your eye on that ball.
Third down, Manziel looking, throws, and dropped by Gabriel, his first back in a month after a concussion. That could have been a big reception to maybe give you a chance to get into field goal range.
Yeah, and there are a few things that happened on this one. You just mentioned the first one. He's missed a few games recently for what? Concussion. So he's taking hits along the way. This one, he goes up and he has to go into the air, so you're always bracing as a receiver thinking a hit's coming, and then he ends up fighting the football instead of letting it relax into his hands.
So depending on this punt by Andy Lee, as he lays into this one, Lockett a fair catch at the 27-yard line. There's 16 seconds left and a 7-point Seahawks lead. All right, Mr. Davis, look, the whole world, much like, last week when Seattle went rolling into Baltimore, no one giving Cleveland a chance. But here they are. If they don't let these final few seconds get away in the first half, going to halftime only down a touchdown.
Well, they talked about cutting it loose. They talked about playing with nothing to lose. They're 3-10, and they've done that to an extent in the first half. Thought they might be a little more high, wide, and handsome on offense, but also they played a really smart game. I'm loving what I'm seeing out of Manziel. Very much under control. I would like to see him break out a little bit and use his legs, but I think we may see that in the second half. But here's Seattle. Let's see if they're going to take a shot and try and get something before the half, because remember, they get the ball to start the second half.
16 seconds left, and they're going to put it in the hands of Kerr, see if he can make something out of very little, at least to start with, and run out of bounds at the 32. 11 seconds remain.
Is that the version of the draw or screen, Tony, that you run and hope something pops?
Yeah, I guess it is. I'll tell you what, I'm really impressed going through this first half with this Cleveland defense and team in general. They're playing hard.
Well, that stirred up a lot of controversy in San Francisco last week. Comments made by Mike Pettin saying you saw one team that really wanted to fight and claw and scratch, and another team that clearly didn't. In that matchup of teams not going anywhere last week, won by Cleveland over the 49ers. Wilson throws, caught. Stepped out of bounds, did Wilson, at the 43-yard line. Cheap Chris was the one who apparently took the most issue, or at least publicly anyway.
The offensive coordinator.
Offensive coordinator of the 49ers with those comments.
He did, and listen, if you're a professional and you're a competitor and someone questions your effort, you're usually going to jump up and try and defend yourself. Their best defense is how are they going to play this weekend, how are they going to play next weekend. We'll see them in Detroit. We'll get a chance to ask Jeep about it then.
They're playing the Bengals today, and of course that is the first career start of the former Alabama standout. Charles, you were around A.J. McCarron a great deal, and the Bengals have a 7-0 lead in that one at halftime, playing very conservatively of the Bengals today.
Well, they can run the ball. You got Jeremy Hill, you got Gio Bernard. You can take some safe throws. You look at the playoff picture right now.
Minnesota just demolished Chicago today. So a 9th win for the Vikings. Seattle would hold a tiebreaker over Minnesota because Seattle beat Minnesota. Should they both win out, Minnesota has a final game of the regular season in Green Bay. All right, here's Curse on the final play of the half. Still on his feet, and the penalty flag comes in. If that is a face mask against the Browns,
that's what it is.
The Seahawks are going to get one more play in this half. What a huge penalty this could turn out to be.
Face mask. Defense. Number 22. Penalty is half the distance to the goal.
Right there, reaching over
First
the
down,
top.
Seattle. By rule, we will extend the half by 1 play.
And that's Tramon Williams, and he's got to think to himself, I don't want to be in this stadium much more. Remember, he was in the coverage last year in the NFC Championship game when the touchdown pass was thrown to Jermaine Kearse.
Indeed.
By Russell Wilson to send Seattle to the Super Bowl. And now he gets this one, an untimed play. They'll try and kick a field goal, try and get 3 points, go into the half, and then get the ball to start the second half to Seattle.
And Charles, look, I live in Ohio. I have a lot of really good buddies of mine that are Browns fans, and I can promise you to a man, every one of them are going, that's what happens to the Browns.
And that's what happens when you're in a long losing jag like that. Everyone plays happen against you until you find a way to break out and flip it around.
I mean, a Browns fan is saying on this 27-yard field goal try by Houston, the other team scores against us when there's no time on the clock. That's the way things are going for the Browns. So a 10-point spread at halftime, 20-10 Seattle. Today's excitement brought to you by Nissan, an excellent opening drive. 15 plays capped off for a touchdown. Manziel to Barnage, tying Ozzie Newsome's single-season touchdown record by a tight end. Doug Baldwin, a touchdown machine, 2 of them already again. For a 4th consecutive game, a franchise record. Then the face mask on what was to have been the final play of the half gave Seattle one more play, kicking a field goal, and Charles said it at the time. Browns fans are throwing things at the tube saying the teams even score when there's no time left on the clock.
And it's a terrible way to end the half for the Browns.
Yep.
But go back to how Seattle got 20 points this game. I believe they were 5 for 8 on 3rd downs. Well, that sounds terrific. That's in line with what they've done over the last month, 64% on 3rd downs. But the big one is how they got 5 of 8. They were 3rd and longs on most of those 3rd down plays. 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8.
Yep.
They pick them up, keep drives alive, and allow them to have a 10-point lead here at the half.
Actually, on 3rd down, Charles, I thought it was 5 of 8. It's 5 of 6.
5 of 6. I mean, even better.
Well, even better if you're a Seahawks.
If you're a Seahawks fan, if you're a Browns fan, it's more of, well, of course they're 5 of 6. Let's see if Cleveland can come out and continue with the same fight that Tony Siragusa talked about in the first half.
We're going to check
into the second half
here in a minute. So the Seahawks will get the football. This is Lockett, couple of yards out of his own end zone. And a good return by the rookie out of Kansas State to the 27. And how about it, Big Tony?
What's up, guys? I had a talk with Mike Patton. A great guy. He's happy with the way his team is playing right now, with the emotions, with how aggressive they are. You know, I asked him about Johnny Manziel having 0 yards in the first half, and what he thought about that. He says, I'm going to have a talk with Johnny going into halftime. He needs to go and use his feet a little bit. He can't stop being him. but, you know, he's making smart moves. He's in the pocket. He's throwing the ball downfield, but he's got to threaten that secondary a little bit, and that's exactly what we were talking about on the broadcast. And Pete Carroll, you know, he talked about we have to go and keep this going. I'm happy with the way that our team is playing, but we got to do better on third downs. That's the one thing that he was concerned about.
Doing better on third down. That means you got to be 100% on third down.
That's what he said.
Well, Pete's got a high standard.
He's going for perfection.
He wants it all done.
Well, when you win, 49 of your last 69, and in the month of December, since Russell Wilson came on board, they are 14-2. I only bring that up because when the Browns won last weekend, it was their first December win in 3 years.
Yeah, that was they had been 13 games in December over that time span.
Second down and just not much there. So an early third down here on this opening drive coming up. Our Monty Bryant in on the tackle. He had a pair of sacks last weekend against the Niners.
And as this half goes along, and we'll see how Cleveland continues to scrap, see what they can do, obviously going through. But one of the questions Seattle's going to have to answer is, will a lead back emerge? Remember, it started out with Derek Coleman. But I thought Christian Michael, out of him, Bryce Brown, and Christian Michael was the best back in the first half for Seattle.
So another third and long, third down and 6. And again, they convert. Curse to the 39-yard line. 6 of 7 on third down.
You know, people talk about how the tight end is supposed to be the safety net for a quarterback. In Seattle, Jimmy Graham's injury has exacerbated the need for who's your safety net on third down. I think Jermaine Kearse is really evolving into that role. He's a dependable guy. He's the guy Russell Wilson looks for. And look at what he does. He pays it off for him. Look at those first 4 possessions of the game. All scores for the Seattle Seahawks.
34 plays on their first 3 drives. Some miscommunication there. And now Wilson will slide down to the 31-yard line. That'll be a loss of 6. Call it 7 on first down.
That may not have looked pretty, but let's not take credit away from Cleveland again. They had it defended. Tramon Williams was right there. See how he's on the play? He's got it. He doesn't make the move to Wilson. He takes Lockett coming out of there, and everyone else has everything covered, and that's why Russell Wilson has to go down in the backfield. Well done by the Browns.
Wilson, completed pass to Luke Wilson. That's up to the 37-yard line, so it'll bring up third down and 10. Now, if you're Cleveland here, we talked about 3rd and 8, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 7, 3rd and 6 a moment ago. Here you are. We're going to call it third down and 12. They actually spot the ball at the 36-yard line.
We've talked about Kearse being that guy, but Doug Baldwin's going into the slot, and he's capable of making these types of plays on third down himself.
Coming after Wilson, and they got him. That is not officially a sack, but Carlos Dansby forcing him to throw it away, so Cleveland with a stop, the first one defensively all day.
And where is he coming from? Let's take a good hard look at this. I think this is him here. Yes, straight up, and a good job forcing Justin Britt to work inside number 68 at guard and pick up the first threat, and Dansby came right off of his heels. Dansby came into the game with no sacks on the year. He really should be credited for one there.
Well, Dansby has just had an outstanding career. He is their leading tackler, 3 interceptions, 2 he's run back for touchdowns, and John Ryan got too much of this one. Hoping to pin him inside the 15 or the 20. Mansell and the Browns are down by 10. They get the ball for the first time in the second stanza when we come back.
Today's game is sponsored by Southwest. Transparency. No fares, nothing to hide.
Well, we've talked about it through the years, all the quarterbacks. I mean, we've seen this before. 24 of them going back since the rebirth of the Browns in '99. And they're really hoping that Manziel can get it together off the field and be that guy for a long time. With all due respect to Mr. McCown, Manziel's a guy they drafted in the first round.
They don't want to have to go back into the draft and do this again.
Incomplete on first down. Well, you go back to week 16 of last year. The Browns have used 9 different quarterbacks. I mean, Manziel to Connor Shaw to Josh McCown. Back and forth, Manziel, McCown to week 13. Austin Davis to start. Manziel now 2 in a row. How do you win?
Makes it a little tough there, isn't it?
Extremely tough. No consistency, timing with your receivers. Your offensive line, knowing where you're going to be. 2 different quarterbacks. One big-time scrambler, one guy that stays in the pocket. It's tough when you don't have consistency on an offense.
Ball is loose. You know, the dilemma, and look, we got a long way to go in this game. But here you're playing one of the best defenses in the NFL if you're Johnny Manziel this week. Their last 2 games will come against Kansas City, hottest team in the league, except for Carolina. And then you play the Steelers, the last game of the season, another team trying to get in the playoffs. If you don't win any of them, you might end up with the #1 pick in the draft. Can you count on Manziel, or you draft another quarterback?
Not a #1 in this draft. Not from what I've seen so far.
In the college game.
In the college game. I wouldn't go there.
3rd down and 10. Penalty flags there. Here's Manziel running. Tony talked about it a moment ago. You brought it up, Charles.
Yep.
Now, does it stand, or does it come back on a penalty? It's an 11-yard gain.
If it stands, there's nothing more demoralizing for a defense to pin you down and the quarterback hot-foots it.
Defense, number 56.
Wow.
Penalty is declined.
Second one of those today on Cliff Favre.
Another offsides by the defensive lineman.
That's a lot. That was a 5.
Yeah, but watch here. This is what we were talking about, Tony.
Yeah.
Lane opens, and Johnny takes off and finds the gap and finds the first down marker.
Well, listen, worst thing, at least it threatens the chance of him running for first downs. Now the linebackers, the defensive backs, they got to go and come up and maybe break the coverage when they think he crosses the line of scrimmage. It could help them in the long run.
So a first down, and Manziel dumps it off quickly to Crowell out of the backfield. Not much there, but a gain of a couple of yards on first down. You know, getting back just to tie a ribbon about that whole thing with Manziel. You know, it's one thing for people to talk about it and you know, people to write about it, to shoot video of it, all the stuff going on around Johnny Manziel. But if you're his employer signing his paycheck, that's a tough spot to be in, man, and to be put in by the player as to whether or not you can count on this guy for the long haul. All the other stuff's window dressing. First down catch made right there. That's Barnage up to the 42-yard line.
If he keeps making plays like that, the next question you have is what you've talked about. Let these 3 weeks in the offseason be a referendum on, are we going to be able to count on you? Because when he makes these types of plays, this is why they drafted him. Johnny Manziel hanging in the pocket. Supposedly his height's an issue. He finds Barnage through all the thicket and delivers the strike. We saw him hot-footed for a first down. Now we're going Wildcat. Is that Terrell Pryor back here?
That is the former Ohio State star quarterback Terrell Pryor. They're going to have him run it. He did a ton of that at Ohio State, leading the Buckeyes as a Rose Bowl MVP. And not much there. Well, Pryor was coming out of college. Charles, you and I saw him a lot. I mean, this guy, maybe not the prototypical quarterback as far as the way through the ball and the accuracy issues. Had 9 starts with the Raiders a couple of years ago, but man, what an athlete.
And that's why I always thought him coming out, receiver was the way he needed to go right away. Never saw him as a true NFL quarterback. Now he's got that opportunity to be that receiver that we thought he could be.
Take it to Crowell. And thrown behind Marlon Moore, who only has 5 receptions all year long.
These drops are killing him on offense, stopping the chains.
It's a tough catch because his body's going one way, but again, remember, 3-10, you're trying to beat a team that went to the Super Bowl 2 years in a row. You got to find a way to make that catch. You know, those are the ones that give you that opportunity to break through.
On their opening drive, they went 15 plays, scoring a touchdown. Trying to convert 3rd and long here. Manziel turns out of trouble, slings it on the run, and enough for a first down. What an effort by Barnidge. Having a Pro Bowl year. Manziel extending the play, a gain of 12.
Precisely, because he keeps this play alive, and that allows Barnidge at the end of it to make the extra play.
Yeah, Michael Bennett comes right up the middle on the pass rush.
See, they had him tackled too, Tony. That was Burley 28, I believe.
And Lane.
And Lane 20. But Manziel's elusiveness kept the play alive, and then Barnidge runs through him at the end.
Play fake to Crowell. And now Manziel somehow stays on his feet and throws it incomplete.
And what a good incompletion, guys. Because that's supposed to be a sack. All right, that's supposed to be a sack. He's supposed to be down. I think it was Cassius Marsh who had him in the open field, had him lined up. And look at him, slip through that. Yeah, it's incomplete, but guess what? It's 2nd and 10 instead of 2nd and 20.
Amazed he kept his balance on that one.
You're right, Tony. It's amazing. Only sacked one time. Play clock down to 1. They just do get it off. And there's that delayed handoff to Crowell. And he is driven down to the 42-yard line. Kelsey McRae starting in place of Cam Chancellor. So here we go on another 3rd down for the Browns, trying to come away with points. They're only down 10, a little more than midway through this 3rd quarter.
Guys, if they pick up this 3rd down, go back to the first down play that he made to avoid the sack.
Well, they need to stay outside.
That would keep it.
You guys got to watch the ball on this defensive line. They can't have another offsides penalty.
They really hurt him on this drive, hurting the Seahawks. Here they come after Manziel. He's in trouble. And throws incomplete. Bobby Wagner right on him.
And was that the umpire that he ended up running over? Watch Manziel go, but watch Wagner in the pursuit. And the umpire's trying to get out of the way.
That's Barry Anderson.
Yeah, and he's part of the field. And Johnny's trying to get away. Bobby Wagner's got him lined up. And then Barry Anderson gets involved, the umpire. He's trying to get out of the way. And 3 guys go down.
He's got to work on that back pedal a little bit, huh?
Oh, you're cold. Come on. Here's a punt by Andy Lee, among the best in the business for a long. Look at that. Oh. That looks like Mr. Davis spinning that sand wedge. That's tight. Bird's eye view there for the big man, Tony. It's not bad, is it, getting paid for that?
Tony, what'd they call? What'd they call? Did you get the call in the huddle?
I heard it's on 1. That's all I heard.
Let's drive starting after the Andy Lee punt inside their own 5-yard line for Wilson and the Seahawks. They'll start with a running play. Bryce Brown, pickup of 2.
Now, Tony, you crushed the umpire Barry Anderson for his lack of agility.
Sure
here.
did.
But remember, umpires, this is just a recent phenomenon that they're behind the line of scrimmage.
Yep.
They're usually behind where you used to play, right?
Absolutely.
So they had that small area. He didn't have to move that much. So we got to change who the umpires are a little bit. We've got these big lineman guys that we're trying to turn into backs. Barry, you don't have to take that, man.
Look at it.
You just go out there and play.
He's still laughing about it right there. The guys are busting his chops about it. The players. It's great.
Good for him. Good sense of humor out there. Of course, he doesn't know, Tony. You're whacking him on national television for crying out loud.
I didn't say nothing. I just said, we were wondering if he ever played college ball, and I just said, well, if he did, he definitely wasn't a defensive back because his back pedal was just horrible.
Yeah, he was an umpire. But how about now, guys, this defensive front for the Browns? Tony, you've been watching them all game. I don't think they're doing a bad job up front, defensive line.
No, not at all. I mean, listen, they're playing. They're running to the ball. They're doing all the little things right. This team is not, as bad as their record shows. They're a good group of players right here.
They definitely have not checked out on this season. That's
not at all.
That's a big third down here. And they dump it off. It looks like enough for a first down on the reception by the veteran Fred Jackson, and it is to the 15.
How about that catch, guys? Did you see Fred Jackson stick that meat hook up there and pull it in? Watch this. Wilson dumps it off. Jackson, look at that. With the one hand to put it there. It may not be the Odell Beckham and what the receivers are doing, but look at that. One hand to control it and then bring it in and picks up a key first down.
Jackson has really had an extraordinary career when you look back on when he came out of Tiny Co College.
That is in Iowa, correct?
Indeed. That is Michael. Hard running by Michael, but again, it's a handful of carries on a guy trying to save his career at 25 years old. We'll see how it works out.
You know what I would do right now? Pete Carroll told us that they would evaluate these backs and how they played today. Right now, I think Christine Michael has the hot hand for Seattle. I think they're going to ride him as far as he wants to go today. Let's see how he continues to lather up and see what they can do with that big guy in front, Tukuafu. And look at Bailey, 78, the extra lineman in the game.
Well, they're averaging 4.4 yards per carry as a team. And that's right around a 4-yard gain, close to it anyway, by Michael. Tukuafu getting tangled up with Xavier Cooper.
Tony, you love Will Tukuafu, don't you?
All right. He's a defensive lineman playing fullback.
You love that.
How can you not love him?
300, nearly 300 pounds coming at him.
Yeah, he told me, I talked to him before the game, he said he was 298. He's just a big, you know what, it looks like, you think like, well, this guy's lining up in the wrong spot. It looks like an offensive lineman in the backfield on a regular down, not a short yardage or goal line. He's just a mammoth guy.
Dump it off to Curse. Broke a tackle. Still on his feet. Cuts it back to the inside and gets a first down to the 41-yard line. Tashawn Gibson had a shot to bring him down. And Curse able to escape.
Another misdirection play where they will bring the receiver back through the line of scrimmage and through the garbage in there. And Tashawn Gibson in the open field has a chance to put him down. Tries to shoulder block him down, and Curse bounces off of it and goes downfield for another first down.
Drive began inside their own 5-yard line. 2 minutes to play in the third quarter. Same score where we stood at halftime. And again, powerful running by Christine Michael. You weren't with us earlier. I mean, obviously the Seahawks liked what they saw in Michael coming out of college. He was a second-round draft pick in 2013. Talented, but very inconsistent.
And that was the problem. Of course, he was running behind Marshawn Lynch. Robert Turbin was in town. But all of them similar backs. Strong, physical, breaking tackles. But let's face it, Christine Michael just wasn't consistent enough and got beat out by Thomas Rawls. So they traded Michael to Dallas. Didn't work there. Didn't work in Washington. Last shot really here. And he's running as if he knows it.
Sitting guy inside that zone is Baldwin. And finally dragged down to the 23-yard line. Another Seahawks first down.
I don't know about you guys, but when I watch Jonathan Baldwin play, you know who I think of when I watch him play? It's Steve Smith. Because of the way this guy goes about his business, the intensity he plays with, he wants to be great on every play.
Today's game is sponsored by the new 2016 Ford Escape. Be unstoppable.
It was customary, the 12th man flag raised before the games here in Seattle. They have the great Michael Sinclair handle it before the game today. 3-time Pro Bowler. Led the league in sacks 1 year.
They not get after the quarterback here in the Pacific Northwest, don't they?
Yes, they do. Not sure what happened right there.
It's almost like everyone knew the snap count except maybe the center, Patrick Lewis. Maybe he's like, you know, I'm going to go when I'm ready. Not you. And he's done a great job this year solidifying this offensive line.
Ball start. Offense, number 64. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Well, they blame J.R. Sweezy. He's like, me?
Yeah, he's like,
he's mad.
You got the 60 right, but I think you got the wrong one. They're saying Sweezy, but I think it's more here. Let's see.
Huh?
Well, yeah, Sweezy jumped up there a little bit. But I think the problem was the ball just wasn't snapped on time. That was it. Everybody really just pick a guy.
The first down and 15 back in the hands of Christian Michael. And dropped right there at the line of scrimmage, maybe lost a half yard.
Best tackle of the drive by the Browns, right there by Carlos Dansby. He also got some help there. Looked like Jamie Meter, number 98. But overall, they've missed a number of tackles on this drive that allowed for extra yardage for Seattle.
Well, the Seahawks do not have to run another play. Down to 10 on the game clock. And they will not. So that'll be the end of the third quarter, a scoreless third quarter. 2010 Hawks. NFL on Fox will continue after these messages and a word from your local Fox station. Take a look at this. A rookie Charles Gaines and the veteran Dante Whitner.
That's nothing.
Hey, that's 3 and 10. 3 and 10, and you're scuffling. Everyone's frustrated. Rookie's trying to get it together. Probably a veteran trying to give him some advice. Might not have wanted to hear it.
I just saw them two give each other high fives.
Oh, good. They're not high-fiving after this.
No, they are.
Tyler Lockett with a touchdown. Third touchdown pass of the game by Wilson.
So there's Lockett right there. See him, he's essentially running a wheel route. He doesn't start as deep in the backfield or bow out as much, but essentially it's a wheel route. Running other receivers inside. Lockett ends up one-on-one, and it's been a rough day for Johnson Batamose, number 24. He's had a tough time trying to cover these guys going into the end zone. And Lockett gets another one. The rookie's having a heck of a first campaign in the NFL.
Well, you know, with K'Wan Williams inactive today before the game, I knew that Batamose was going to get a lot of playing time because Pierre Desir has been inactive 2 of the last 3, although he's up today. Seahawks, a 27-10 lead, and the touchdowns keep on coming for Russell Wilson.
Game is sponsored by Burger King. Now get 10 chicken nuggets for $1.49 only at BK.
27-10 on the first score we've had from either team here in the second half. Wilson finding Lockett. So now you're talking about 4.5 games where Russell Wilson has thrown 19 touchdowns without a single interception. 19-0. Mostert out of the end zone and up to the 20-yard line. Now this game is obviously not over yet. 14:49 to go. But if Russell Wilson can go the rest of this game without throwing an interception, be the first player in league history to go 5 consecutive games, 3 touchdowns or more without throwing a pick. So now down 17 Manziel starts off the drive, and the catch is made up to the 40-yard line by Marlon Moore.
And a nice catch, but what's been a problem for Cleveland today? Not able to catch the football. There's Terrell Pryor. We saw Jim Dre first. That's Hawkins, excuse me, not Hawkins, but Travis Benjamin. We end up finishing it up with Marlon Moore, who just made the catch. 5 drops we're counting today that have hurt them and their ability to move the ball downfield.
Manziel 14 of 25, 129 yards. Led him on a touchdown drive, the first drive of the game. How about that grab? Batting it into the air is Crowell. And he's up to the 46-yard line, a gain of 6 on first down.
That's a tremendous catch on a screen pass, because this thing zings out of there a little bit. Got away from Johnny, kind of sailed on him. And Isaiah Crowell bats it in. That was similar to the Fred Jackson catch, where you bat it into the air and kind of control it a little bit and then haul it into your body. Well done by Isaiah Crowell.
He actually had to shove Cameron Irving out of the way before he caught that ball. And that's a lot of shoving. Second down run, and this time into the hands of Duke Johnson. He's not had a chance to run it a lot this year. But that's a first down to the Seattle 48-yard line. Speaking of runners, anybody better ever than that guy, the great
no.
Jim Brown?
The stance is still no. I don't care what the numbers say nowadays. For my money, still the best football player ever to play in the National Football League. I don't care about position. I'm just saying running back. I'm saying football player, Jim Brown.
That time Taylor and Gabriel takes it down to the 44. Big East Conference play begins next week on FS1 New Year's Eve. Tell you what, number 10 Xavier, that's a good-looking team. So is number 12 Villanova. You're home for Big East basketball. FS1 streaming live on Fox Sports Go.
I can guarantee you one thing. Out of the 4 coaches in those games we talked about, my man Matty Wright, Jay Wright, Villanova, easily best dressed.
No doubt.
Not even close.
And of those guys, Xavier coach Chris Mack could care less about.
Doesn't care. Let's play ball. But Jay's going to look good doing it.
Manziel roaming around, has Green in front of him. Flag comes down. It's enough for a first down to the 36
that's coming back as Michael Bennett's on the scene, and I see linemen from the Browns talking to each other. Michael Bennett breaks down teams in a big way.
Offense, number 74, 10-yard penalty, replay, second down.
That's Irving.
There's one thing about having your hands inside, but when the guy starts running, you have to let go.
See, it's right in here.
Yep.
Starts there, and then there it is. There's the penalty. Cam Irving gets a full handful of Bobby Wagner. Bennett started to break things down, and then became an open field play. And Cam Irving reached out and had to get Bobby Wagner, trying to keep him off his quarterback.
Sure, what it almost looked like, though, that Wagner had a grip of Irving's face mask.
It was a shoulder pad inside the collar there. Yeah, it was just.
Thank you.
Tony to the defense. I like that.
Amen. First time he's bailed me out in a month. Here's Johnson off to the races. And inside the 20, all the way down to the 15-yard line for Duke Johnson Jr.
Now this play is going to break really well. We just talked about Irving and crew. Look at the job they did blocking. Then getting out in front here. That's number 67, Austin Pazder. And that gives him great space. An entree into the secondary, and Earl Thomas has to come over and make a saving tackle. But we just talked about Cam Irving. Excellent job blocking on that play by him, number 74, and number 67, Austin Pazder, coming over and finishing things off.
It's a 39-yard run, longest in the career of the rookie Duke Johnson Jr., who limped off. Here's Manziel, and he lunges down to the 10-yard line, a gain of 5 on a run by Manziel. Johnson appears to be shaken up, was slow walking back. You hope only a cramp or something along those lines.
Hey, he was holding his stomach there right after the play.
Sometimes you come down hard, or maybe on the football, knocks the air out of you a little. Could be something like that. Hopefully he's all right. But Johnny Manziel took Mike Pettin's message that he gave you, Tony, to heart, using his feet a lot more.
Up under center on a second down. Mansell right into the hands of Crowell. And that did not fool the Seahawks defense. No gain.
That was well defended there. KJ Wright, number 50. He's not gonna go to the Pro Bowl because he sacks a lot of people. He's going to go to the Pro Bowl because he tackles everyone and plays his position with great intelligence. And boy, he spied that one out.
Pardon me, Charles. See Johnson there back in the game for Cleveland. The Browns need a touchdown. Kicking field goals with 10 minutes to go, down 17, doesn't cut it. Although that's what they would do if they fail here on third to get within a pair of scores. They come after Mansell. He's running away from right. Slams on the brakes and sacked back at the 18-yard line by Burley.
Burley's going to need to credit some people. One of them being KJ Wright. I just mentioned he's not a big sack guy, but look at what he does. He flushes Johnny Manziel to start everything off. And then he stays in pursuit and doesn't give him a clean spot to set up and throw the football, and actually runs him right back in to Marcus Burley, number 28. Really well played by KJ Wright, and Marcus Burley's the beneficiary.
37-yard field goal try by Coons. And he has still not missed officially a field goal this year. It says he's missed 3. 3 have been blocked. 14-point game.
This game is sponsored by K Jewelers. Every kiss begins with K.
Oh my. Oh.
We were there yesterday.
Hey, did you send someone home?
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, Tony, Christmas Eve, right?
Christmas Eve.
Tradition?
7 fishes, you know that.
There you go, my man.
45 people coming to the house.
All I know is when I fly home very, very late tonight, I'm going to try and hunt down the movie 25th Hour.
Yes.
We got to check that out. I can't believe you haven't seen that yet.
Gotta see our guy.
You're a Russian mobster, right, Ting?
Yeah. A little upset about that movie, though. They turned me into a snitch.
Oh, that's not you.
My family wasn't really happy about that. Being from New Jersey with a Valentine to your name, you know?
Target from the goal line. And still on his feet. And dropped inside the 20. Cleveland needs a stop. Trailing by 14. Russell Wilson, 3 more touchdown passes without an interception. Playing the best football of his very, very young but extraordinarily positive NFL career. First down throw and a catch, gain of 7 on first down. Wilson, 27 years old, out of Richmond, Virginia. And all he has done is 1 game. You can talk about the stats and this kind of run he's on and on and on. But at the end of the day, this guy is winning games. Has a great cast around him. Great running game since he's come into the NFL. Great defense since he's come into the NFL. But the quarterback can still lose games for you. We've seen Wilson win plenty. As here's a big run up to the 46-yard line. Been in the playoffs every year. Rookie, he won a game in Washington and lost the following week in Atlanta. Much like his team, tends to start a little slow. But as the season goes on, the Seahawks, led by Wilson, know how to close.
So you're saying don't let them get to the backstretch?
No.
Because then it's down the stretch they come.
Yes, it is.
And they're in full gallop now. Look at that, 2 plays. They changed field position already.
He's going to throw it on first down. Incomplete, thrown behind Bryce Brown.
That would have been some catch, wouldn't it? That would have been an amazing catch if Bryce Brown had been able to haul that one down.
You know, Charles, I want to get to something earlier in the week that happened, and I don't know how you feel about it. To me, it was an example on a day and age where the media tries to make so many times, and I'm a member of the media, I'm not throwing other guys in front of the bus, but I'm saying
it's all us. We're in it.
It is a day and age where we try to make so much out of really was so little. Mike Pettin in no way, shape, or form was making any kind of slight to Russell Wilson. No. Look, if you went to the most hardcore Seahawk fan and you said, hey, look, elite quarterbacks in the NFL, the elite, we're talking about a long period of time. And that's really what Pettin's talking about. He's talking about Brady and Rodgers and Breeze and Roethlisberger. You know what I mean? Come on.
Yeah, and look, and he said he's in the next tier, and he's moving up, and that's what he's doing. This stretch we're seeing now is moving Russell Wilson into where that discussion about the elite tier of quarterbacks is a legit deal, especially considering what happened last offseason. We signed that contract that says you're an elite quarterback. He's playing to it now.
Whatever happened to being able to have your own opinion?
There's no doubt.
I mean, what happened to that? You know?
Well, you know, Tony, it's not only that, as there's another first down. It's not only having your own opinion, but it's other people trying to decide what your opinion is.
Yeah.
And that's what happened with Pettin.
Guys, you guys know as well as I do. Let's just make this one real simple. If Mike Pettin's 10-3, we don't have this conversation.
No.
3-10, people want to jump on everything that you say. It's really pretty simple.
Under a microscope.
You know? If he's 10-3, everybody goes, well, you know, Mike Pettin might know what he's talking about. Maybe, you know. It's a whole different conversation.
You're exactly right. Now Wilson to run it. Escapes one tackle. Slides to the 25-yard line, and there's the first down. And Luke Wilson, the tight end, will limp off the field right in front of the Seattle bench.
How about this ball fake and then him going out the backside on him? Fake it there. And again, the defensive end, the outside backer. We saw it earlier with Nate Orchard getting sucked inside. Let's see here. Russell Wilson fake to Christine Michael. Tucks it the other way, puts the foot in the ground, and comes back the opposite for another big gainer.
Browns needed a stop when this drive began to have a chance. Now that's a flag. Boy, is there a flag. No flag. That's the linebacker, Kirksey, running with Fred Jackson.
You know, watching it right in front of me, not even 11 yards away, it looked like both of their feet got tangled up.
And if that's the case, then that's why the flag's not pulled, correct? You know, it's like it's the inadvertent. You get tangled up and you have it together. Tony, the feet kind of stumble, and then Kirksey stumbles into Jackson. I think the official determined that's why I'm not throwing the flag.
I agree with that.
Second down and 10. They just get it off. Rocket. Run out of bounds inside the 20. 5:14 to go. And Seattle trying to tie around a ribbon leading up to Christmas Day of this, what would be their 9th win of the year. Minnesota coming up with its 9th win to go to 9-5. And if you weren't with us earlier, or you don't follow the Seahawks regularly, they would have the tiebreaker. As you look at what their running game has done today, it's been solid.
And Christine Michael's gone to the head of the class with the runners today as they're trying to replace people and still hoping to get Marshawn Lynch back.
They're averaging over 5 yards a carry among all their runners today, and that's Bryce Brown. But look, they're going to have to find somebody to play Seahawk football, because I think most people agree it would be, you know, the cherry on top of the Sunday to get Marshawn Lynch back.
Yes.
Before the regular season, you know, comes to an end. I'm not sure anybody around here is banking on that. They're figuring on the playoffs, right? So between now and over the last 2 games, the Rams at home, Arizona on the road, they'd like to be able to run the ball like they've run it today.
And that's what they're trying to do, determine who's going to be those guys. Right now, I think Michael's a little bit ahead. Bryce Brown showing some nice running, though, here late in the ball game.
Flag down. Look at those moves by Wilson. Incomplete.
You know, we talk a lot about Russell Wilson and the kind of football player he is, guys, but, you know, watching him during warm-ups, and just he's just a great human being.
Number 68, 10-yard penalty, replay, first down.
You know, going up to fans, looking at, you know, talking with kids, just a a great guy all around. You know, it's even better to go and see a guy like this be successful.
Today's game is sponsored by Microsoft Surface, the official tablet of the NFL.
A look inside our television truck. Mark Titleman, our producer to the left. Greg Scopatone, our director in the middle. Dane Crawford, our technical director to the right. First down and 20. Wilson and the Seahawks. Watching Michael get inside the 20-yard line. You know, you were talking, Tony, going to break there about Wilson and what a fine young man he is. Deeply religious young man, and makes no bones about it. We were with him last week when he met that cancer patient from Richmond, Virginia, young Thomas Lapani. And he is very much a solid member of this community in the great Pacific Northwest. Well, the weather playing out like the Seahawks season. Started ugly, dark and gray, but now nothing but blue skies and sunshine. Seahawks trying to go to 9-5, and they are 3:47 away from doing it. Third down coming up. Our associate director Alex Olson, our broadcast associate Jordan Wolf, sideline producer Nick Gagliano hanging down there with Tony, and our technical producer Bob Muller. Lead engineer from right here in Seattle is Joe Palmer. And up here in the booth, Tom Barbary, Scott Snyder on stats, and our spotter. Well, if you died and you were brought back to life, what would you do? This January, one man finds out. From the executive producer of The X-Files in 24 comes a new drama, Second Chance. Starts Wednesday, January 13th, only on Fox.
Also want to wish everybody this week a Merry Christmas.
Amen.
Yes, sir. Everyone enjoy.
We're going to have Christmas sweaters to join Tony next weekend.
Absolutely. I just hope mine fits after the food that my family's going to be cooking this week. I might have to go up one more size.
Actually, you're hoping it doesn't fit because the food is so great.
Stop by and see me, Bane, after the game.
Absolutely.
Slip into. Third down, and nearly into the string for Russell Wilson.
Well, they got drop balls on the offense and right there on the defense, too.
It's been that kind of day, hasn't it? Because it's a slant route coming inside. It'll be over in this area. Watch the throw by Wilson. He looks off, comes back to it. And what a great job by Tramon Williams, number 22, reading the play. Wilson takes the hit from the backside, but I really don't think that affected the throw. It's just a nice play by Tramon Williams. The backside hit came from number 94, Randy Starks.
30-yard field goal try by Hauschka. And right through the uprights. Extending the lead. Seahawks now 6 straight games of scoring 29 or more. You know, we'd like to send out a very special hello to Cleveland Browns Executive Vice President Brian Wiedmeyer, currently in a fight with cancer. Mike Pettin gave him the game ball after last week's win over the 49ers. We know that Brian and his wife Mary, their family, watching back in Cleveland, Ohio today. Our best wishes, thoughts, and prayers to you and yours this holiday season.
Without a doubt. What a great job. What a great picture there. You know, the Browns get their first win in a long time last week.
Yep.
And who did they think of first? One of their own.
Yep.
Family member. They took that ball. Mike Pettin takes the ball over to Brian Wiedmeyer and family. And how about that grin on Brian's face there? Brian, all the best to you.
Good deed.
All the best to you. We're all thinking about you, sending you our absolute best.
Well, with Minnesota rolling over the Bears today, in Seattle just a couple of minutes, 3:34 exactly away from picking up another win. Separation beginning to occur for those final 2 spots in the playoff picture in the NFC. Well, as far as the wild card is concerned, game still on. As far as the division, the NFC East and the NFC North are concerned. The other 2 are by and large
pretty much done.
They're not officially, but they're done.
But those wild card spots, remember, coming into this weekend, Minnesota and Seattle were both 2 games clear. Atlanta won today. So, you know, they're still in the fray.
2 with 2 to go. Although the Seahawks clinch a playoff berth today due to the Giants' loss earlier if they hang on to win this one. And you wonder, who do they have coming up? They'll stay right here. Rams coming in, who always play them very well. In fact, the Rams beat them the opening weekend of the season in St. Louis.
You know, in boxing, they say styles make the fight. For some reason, St. Louis's style is similar to, let's say, Ken Norton's with Muhammad Ali.
Right.
You know, whatever it is that drove Ali crazy, Norton did it.
Now, the only potentially interesting thing about that final weekend of the season.
Yeah, what does it determine?
Because if Arizona wins tonight, Arizona wraps up the division, because there would be a 3-game lead with only 2 games to go. But it could be a game that, as there's Dwayne Bowe, who's by and large been in the witness protection program since leaving Kansas City. I mean, it is really one of the most intriguing stories in the NFL of how a guy went from being a Pro Bowler to a guy who was a solid player a year ago. Now, he had a hamstring injury in training camp and felt like he never caught up.
That's his 4th catch of the season. But they did mention, we asked him point blank about that, and the word that came out was urgency to catch up, or the sentence, to catch up after the hamstring. And here he is back to back. So that's his now 5th catch on the season. And with a team that's full of very small receivers, he seems to fit a bill that they needed. And for whatever reason, the connection was not there between the staff, or he and his performance.
You know, Charles, I want to get back really quickly to that potential final game of the year and what it could mean for Richard Sherman and the Seahawks. You know, if everybody keeps doing what they're doing, Minnesota wins next week, Seattle wins next week. So now you're going into the final weekend of the season. Minnesota would play at Green Bay as that ball is stripped away out of the hand of Manziel, waiting on who has it. Still no sign given yet.
Quite a struggle going on down there, you can guarantee that.
Cleveland got it back.
Looks like Bennett.
Yep.
Surprise, surprise. Michael Bennett is just such a great player, especially working inside in the nickel or sub packages. Goes right through Irving and Alex Mack and knocks the ball free.
2:22 to play. Clock starts up. Incomplete. Well, you know, you look at Minnesota would play at Green Bay. That could be for a divisional championship.
Correct.
Final weekend of the year. If you're Seattle, you would be playing the same day. You're already knowing you're in the playoffs, but if Minnesota wins, let's just say hypothetically over Green Bay, and they flip-flop division leader, wild card, being that number 5 team is a big deal in the playoff picture as opposed to number 6.
Because number 5 is likely going to play the NFC East champion.
Now that's no pushover.
Not a pushover. But if you're dealing with how the season has gone this year, that's where you would probably want to go first.
Intercepted, thrown into triple coverage by Manziel. Burley has it. And that should take care of things with 2:05 to go.
And this is what happens when you're down big late. You have to throw the football. You got to try and make something happen. Here's Burley here, 28. Just sitting there, and really all he's doing is cluing back into the quarterback. He's really not even covering a receiver. He's just covering the eyes of the quarterback, which carries him to the football. Because he was in a short zone. Watch Johnny Manziel. As soon as the ball was launched, he went and got it. And there he is getting some counsel from the former starting quarterback, Mr. McCown, over on the sidelines. Those Seahawks, remember how few interceptions they had earlier in the year and people were concerned? I think that's their 7th in the last 4 or 5 games now. The ball hawking is back.
Tavares Jackson checks into the game for Wilson. who will now go 5 games in a row without an interception. Russell Wilson, 19 touchdowns, not a single pick. Seahawks are rolling again. Well, it doesn't appear Wilson's going to attempt another pass here in the game. So he is going to be the first player in NFL history. Think about that for a minute.
Say that again.
3 or more passing touchdowns and not a single interception in each of his last 5 games.
Did you say history?
History.
We're not talking about
uno.
We're not talking about practice.
No.
We're talking about history.
You're not practice.
History.
Practice.
Look up.
3 more passing touchdowns today for Wilson. 2 of them to Baldwin, who has tied an all-time season record for touchdowns by a receiver. And then Lockett for the 3rd and final one. .130 to go. And, you know, Charles, we talked about some of the members of our crew and trying to mix in different guys every week. But, you know, for those of you at home that may not know, for us to get to every location, it's not like we rent out a bunch of equipment and all of a sudden it gets on the air. It's not the way it works with our television truck. No. There are people that are paid to drive the truck wherever we go. Last week, our game was in Baltimore. This week, we're in Seattle. And our drivers this week, Darren Johnston and Patsy Carbonara, beg your pardon, Patsy, drove all the way across the country. And apparently, according to Darren, it was the worst trip he has made in his 25 years of doing this for a living because of the weather. Highways being closed due to the weather.
Ended up at one stretch going, did I get this correct? 100 miles.
9 hours.
In 9 hours.
Yeah, that's correct.
Wow.
So we can't thank you enough.
Thank you.
And now they got to turn around and drive it to Detroit.
Be safe now, and thank you.
4th consecutive playoff berth under Pete Carroll. Played in the last 2 Super Bowls, and you can rest assured they're not going to get home field advantage in the playoffs this go-around. But the Carolinas, the Arizonas, the Green Bays, the Minnesotas, the Redskins, the Eagles, etc. of the world, they know the Seahawks have it going on.